What up, fam? Do you need some extra tools that's going to help your life be the best that it can possibly be? Are you constantly juggling work, family, and personal time only to feel drained and unfulfilled? That's where the book that I wrote called The Balanced Life can be your guide to reclaiming your time, energy, and happiness with practical strategies for setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and achieving real balance. This book helps you create a life that you love without the burnout. Get ready to break free from the chaos and step into a life of purpose and peace. Grab your copy of The Balanced Life because you deserve a life that works for you. Also, we have The Unraveling. It's a journal to help you write, reflect, and heal. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings deserve space. The Unraveling Journal is more than just a notebook. It's your personal guide to self-reflection, healing, and growth. With guided prompts, mindfulness exercises, and room to express yourself freely, this journal helps you untangle emotions, process life's challenges, and rediscover clarity. Take a moment for you. Write, reflect, and heal, one page at a time. And fam, also another book written by my wife is Healthy Relationships. Because fam, you know this. Great relationships don't just happen. They're built. Whether it's with your partner, kids, friends, or coworkers, strong connections are the foundation of a happy life. In healthy relationships, you'll learn how to communicate better, set healthy boundaries, and nurture trust in every relationship that matters to you. Because when your connections thrive, you thrive. Start building stronger, healthier relationships today. Order your copy at kingdomservantsfirst.com. Once again, that's kingdomservants1st.com. Fam, we want you to be the best version of yourself. Get one of these books today. God bless. It is being consistent to the work of every day. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I'm going to do. And sometimes it is not no big laid out plan. But I also know, I've heard the term habit stacking. The more you stack those habits and you do those habits, the more it makes everything that much more easier to do. And you're already doing it anyway. So when you see the habits and you look back over your life, you be like, yeah, man, that momentum has got me going, and I'm going to keep that momentum going so I can finish strong. Fam, what's up? Welcome to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that it will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we'll be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. And I need to hear y'all say it loud enough so you can hear it. Say valuable information applied equals success. And what I want to talk about today, y'all, is finishing strong. This podcast is being recorded in December of 2025, so it's letting you know, fam, we at the end of the year. Okay, things are going strong. Everything is going lovely, but we can't just start strong and hold it middle strong. We got to finish strong. It is so easy for us to start things, fam, and then lose the excitement, the motivation, and you get it. You really do. Because, fam, I don't care what it is that you're going after, whether it's a great marriage, great health, great on your job, starting your own business, going back to school, having kids, or whatever those wonderful things all are. Fam, at one time or another, you ain't gonna feel like wanting to do it, okay? And that's gonna happen. And so we got to get to the point where we are wanting to be those people who don't just dream for things to happen. They actually get done. And we actually finish what we start. Because it's so easy, y'all. God, it's so easy to start things. Because you're excited, man. Because that's the cool part about it. Being a good starter is you have a big old jump in energy and momentum. And you like, man, this is so good. This is so fun. This is so thrilling. This is so exciting. But then as the daily grind of doing that thing is happening, fam, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to get like, man, dang, this is like, So it ain't just starting. We want to talk about something that, separates people from the dreamers to the people who actually get these things done. That's finishing strong. So nothing starts strong, not just starting strong, but it is finishing strong. Whether we're wrapping up a project, the business is finally finna get launched and opened. Whether it's, the end of the year, you do all your taxes and all that wonderful stuff. If it's pushing through to the last stretch of this goal that you're trying to achieve, whether you're losing weight, eating right, whatever it may be, we got to finish strong. And this episode is definitely for you, for those who are trying to do that. So some of the stuff of why do we struggle to finish? That's a big one. The truth is, most people don't fail at the beginning. Let's make that clear. Like I said, we get excited. We be stoked. We fail somewhere in the middle. When the excitement dips, when the problems pile up, and when progress slows down. And that's so easy, man. When you're lifting a certain weight and you get stuck, that sticking point, whether you're losing weight, man, and you're doing all the dieting things, you're doing the workout, man, everything is going good, and you hit a plateau. That's not the ideal of where you want to be at, but you've peaked. You're like, man, I done all this stuff, man, and I was losing weight really good at the beginning, but I'm in the middle now, man, and I ain't losing no weight. I could be losing inches, but sometimes we ain't sweating them inches. Sometimes we look at that number and be like, man, I'm not making the progress that I want to. Because honestly, where the blessing comes in, y'all, is the final 20% of the goal. And the final 20% of the goal, it requires about 80% effort. That's where resistance shows up. There's those things that's going to be resisting you from accomplishing and finishing strong. But this is going to show you what you're made of. It really is. It's going to show you what you're made of. This is where, guess what? I can finish this thing off strong. And man, I want to say I left everything on the table when this is all said and done. So I am currently going through a job transition. I worked at this wonderful facility called Buena Vista Recovery Center for 5 years, man. And it was literally the best job I've ever had in my life. I have no problem telling you that. Man, I loved it. The staff was phenomenal. The facility was wonderful. Management was great. I loved coming to work, helping the people that I was able to help, and they let me do my thing, what I'm gifted to do. And so there was no knock on this company whatsoever, and I'm grateful for the privilege and the honor that God seen fit to bring me to Buena Vista. But we've gotten the word that as of December the 27th of 2025, we were closing down. And so it is so easy to see, a lot of people getting discouraged. Morale is going down a little bit. And you can see those things. And so speaking from experience of knowing that, man, you know what? We have got to finish this thing out with a blast. I want us to leave with a grand slam home run. So I don't want us to get down and discouraged. It's easy to do, man, when you're trying to find another job. And the fact that you're losing your job, not because you did anything bad, but it was just, circumstances happened that it's closing down. So you have to say to yourself, like, man, what season is this for me? For a lot of people are asking themselves that question. Should I go back to school? Should I try to, get another job doing the same thing? Should I try to do a different position that I really been wanting to do in the first place? And it's all those questions that go through your mind. And so, but also at the same time, guess what? We're still serving clients. We still want the best for them as this thing is winding down. So you still want to finish strong. People that came there for their recovery, guess what? I have no problem telling you. I don't want to hear no excuses. I want to hear I came here to get all of the coping skills and everything that I need to be the best version of myself so I can get back to my family, get back to my career, my job, and have my best life. So we're talking about that. How do you keep your energy levels high? How do you get excited about going to something that the season for that thing is ending? So when you finish strong, you must build trust within yourself. That's real big. Family, that's an exciting thing to know, that you reinforce the identity of you're one of those people that have to follow through. Now, you don't just start something, you follow through with it, whatever that may be. And it's good to have that, because those habits spill into every other area of your life, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, health, creativity, when you are one of those people that it spills over into the other areas of your life, that you want to finish strong. You want to say, you know what, that's part of when I always talk about, I've been talking about a lot more lately. It's legacy. I want to finish strong. I don't want to finish where he just got old and he went into a retirement home and he did. Fam, I want to leave with a blast when it's time to leave this planet, Lord, whenever that may be. But it's always knowing that, every day I'm supposed to appreciate every day. I'm supposed to enjoy every day, and to finish strong in this last part of my life. And finishing strong doesn't mean perfection. Y'all know how I feel about perfection. Only Jesus was perfect, so I'm not finna try to hit that plateau of perfection. But I do want to complete this thing called life. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, I fought the good fight, I've ran my course, and I've kept the faith. And that means the world to me, to finish the course that God has placed on this earth for me, and to walk knowing that I'm walking away knowing that I gave the best that I had with what God has given me. So I want it to be strong. I want it to be powerful. I want a powerful finish. And so some things that helps me do that personally, as I constantly simplify the path of what I'm doing. Constantly simplifying the path. I do not like overcomplicating life. If you are around me and you're one of those people that got to figure out every way it's got to be done and all the different ways to do it, I'm like, man, I can't do that. I'm just being honest with you. This is, my take. I like to simplify my life to make it easy, and I can focus more of my energy on what that thing is. Because most of people's goals fall apart because the plan is too complicated. That is the absolute truth. People will complicate something that should not be complicated. I understand you trying to get all the pros and cons of what it is that you're trying to do and what you need to move forward. But you got to keep on asking yourself the question, what's the next smallest meaningful step that I can take that's going to help me towards finishing strong? Okay. What is that? And that is knowing that, whether it's in health, that little step, before we started this podcast, I ate me some oatmeal with a banana in it. Guess what? That gives me the energy that I need. That keeps me healthy to do what it is that I got to do. The next small step, I drank a cup of coffee, and I always like putting coconut oil in my coffee because it has MCT oil in it, which is going to make me healthy. So that's the next small step. Notice, it ain't no big stuff that I'm telling y'all. Look, it's really the small steps of what helps me get to where I'm trying to get to and finish strongly. Using a job, I'm still preparing the same way I prepared, the other 4 years that I've been at work. Make sure I get my lessons together, make sure I get my worksheets, my everything that I need, my dry erase markers, whatever that may be, to get ready to teach this class. And when I walk into that room, to give my all every single time. Not to say, oh, woe is me. I'm not trying to hear that personally. I'm like, Lord, let me simplify this. Let me put everything into order that I can get in order so that I can finish this thing strong. Like I said, it ain't no whole deep thing. It ain't no, 20-point checklist like they do on cars before they get cars ready for resale or something like that. It literally is, what's just the next step that I need to take in order to finish strong. I'm real big on build momentum and not motivation. Because family, y'all know up front, motivation is going to disappear. It is going to disappear. But momentum sticks. It really does. When you're doing that workout, like I said, you keep on doing that workout, you will get past the sticking point. If you are doing that diet and you're following the diet, you will get past that sticking point. If you are trying to, rebuild some relationships with the people that you love, family, keep on, loving them. Keep on demonstrating to them that you love them and you want them back in your life and you're willing to do what needs to be done, which is the next small step to getting it. So momentum is one of those things I can look back over my life and be like, man, I put forth the effort. The momentum paid off when motivation wasn't there. And I say gym now because me and the wifey is going to get our memberships back so we can go to the gym. But I don't feel like, going in my living room every day, pulling out my weights, pulling out my little bench, and working out every day. I have no problem telling y'all that. It'd be many a day I'm like, I ain't feeling it today. It's not that I don't want to do it. I just ain't feeling it. But I can tell y'all from experience, the more I kept doing it and keep doing it, the better my health is. So, like I said, the motivation ain't there. Call it what it is. But the momentum of seeing the progress of being this healthy for the last 40 years of my life keeps me going. And sometimes it is, taking that 5-minute break here. It is, sitting down and reading your Bible for that 15 minutes here and praying a little bit here. It is being consistent to the work of every day. This is what I want to accomplish. This is what I'm going to do. And sometimes it is not no big laid out plan. But I also know, I've heard the term habit stacking. The more you stack those habits and you do those habits, the more it makes everything that much more easier to do. And you're already doing it anyway. So when you see the habits and you look back over your life, you'll be like, yeah, man, that momentum has got me going, and I'm going to keep that momentum going so I can finish strong. And then sometimes, fam, I just want to close the loops. Open loops drain energy, unfinished conversations. You got half-done tasks, things you keep meaning to do. Fam, let me sit down and make sure I'm finishing those tasks. Is there some people I need to call so we can set some things up so we can get the ball rolling and finish rolling? Is there some books I need to read or some information I need to see or look up some YouTube videos to get me going where I need to be at? But I got to choose something that's going to close the loop. Choose something that, okay, all right, I'm putting my resumes in. I'm doing my cover letters. I'm sending the information out there. I'm looking up some classes so I can be better equipped and better, more valuable to the employer that I'm working for. Is it, still doing my little own thing on the side and becoming more invested in that so I can work for myself and not have to work for anybody else? What is those little things that you need to do to finish strong? I know the holidays is coming up. Let's use the health thing again. It's easy to eat all kind of craziness during the holidays because we're doing so much ripping and running. The job hours is up and down because we're taking days off, and then, holidays kicking in and all that. So it's easy to jump off the diet and the exercise. But man, if I say to myself, you know what, how I felt at the beginning of the year, starting this off, man, I want to feel that way to finish this year off, to say I've accomplished this. These goals was crossed off and these tasks were done. I was able to manage my time better. I got to close that loop off because it's easy to get distracted by all these other things that could possibly be happening. So it's one of the things you want to say, you know what, let me close the loops on. Yeah, I'm trying to start other stuff and I'm not even finished with what I got going on right now. So let me finish that off, finish strong, and then prepare myself to have that leeway and open time and open ability and open energy to really give that thing that I want to start off. I want to give it the energy and the props that it needs so I can do what it is that I'm wanting to do. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, if you're feeling behind or discouraged, what does this really mean? Whatever that may be. Like I said, you're going to school, like I said, you're trying to get your family going, you're getting that health going. When you're feeling behind or feeling discouraged, what is making you feel that way? Let's stop and have a moment. Yeah, let's have a few minutes to say, okay, I know I was starting off good trying to learn Spanish. I was starting off good learning how to play this guitar, and maybe I'm not learning it as fast as I thought I should, which is a good, one of those things that will get you discouraged. Does it feel like I'm failing at what it is that I'm trying to do? Did I set the bar too high? So sometimes I got to reframe it as I'm trying to finish strong. Like, man, let me slow myself down. Because, family, do you understand that at the very end of what you're about to accomplish, I feel in my heart the resistance gets stronger and stronger. And I'm gonna use analogies because it's easy to say it. So right now the regular season is going on in football, and after the regular season is over, the playoffs start. And guess what? When the playoffs start, guess what? The intensity, the resistance to get that Super Bowl trophy and that Super Bowl ring, it intensifies. Why is that? Because you're getting closer to where you're trying to be. Same thing, basketball, baseball, whatever it may be. Fam, there's got to be a playoff system, and there's going to be a championship. When those things happen, you have to increase your intensity. You have to click into another gear for those seasons to come up, because guess what? We're getting closer to where we want to be at. And I think about certain teams. I remember like the San Antonio Spurs back in the day. We talk about the Golden State Warriors. We talk about different teams that come to my mind. We talk about Kansas City. We talk about New England. in football. We talk about the Dodgers, Yankees, and baseball. Pick a sport. Those teams usually know that family. When the playoffs get here, they know how to kick into the next gear. And that's the same thing that ought to happen in our individual personal lives. I should have a team of people around me that will help me kick into gear what I'm trying to accomplish. It is beautiful to have that. Please have some people around you that will help you kick into the next gear. I was so grateful when I'm using my baby girl, and she ain't my baby girl, but my daughter, Cece. When I let her know that I was getting laid off my job, she said, all right, listen here, Daddy. Okay, I'm going to need you at the house for about 4 hours. And she broke down the routine. She said, listen, I need you to come here with your why, of why you want to go and, do what it is that you gifted to do. I need you. We're going to make about 3 cover letters. We're going to update your resume, and we're going to get you LinkedIn. We're going to get you on LinkedIn. And I was like, that's what I needed. I didn't need to be, oh, woe is me. I'm losing my job and my daughter was like, oh, hell no, we ain't got time for all that. She said, we going to kick this thing into gear and we going to step it up. And I'm so glad I had my girl around because she made me kick it into gear, boy. And I was ecstatic, and I'm grateful that she did that because the job offers are coming in, and I'm super grateful for that. And it is a tremendous blessing. So you need to have people around you that will help you shift that gear that you're trying to go to. And family, I just want you to do me a favor before you leave here. This is one of your challenges, okay? I want you to pick one goal you want to finish strong. I need you to decide what's one action you can take in the next 24 hours. Remember, we always talk about doing stuff immediately on our program. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. What's one step you can do to get closer to finishing strong in that thing? Now, I like all 3 things to do. I want you to write it down. I want you to verbally say it out loud. And then I want you to even go in the mirror and look at yourself as you saying it out loud. Why is that? You are 4 times as likely to finish strong if you write it down. Because y'all remember, people forget, paper remembers. So if you write something down on paper, it's always going to be on that piece of paper. So paper remembers. That way you can look at it all the time. Then I want you to verbally say it out loud to yourself. And then I want you to look in the mirror and say that goal out loud. And in addition to that, remember I talked about my daughter. Tell somebody. Tell your team. Tell your family, friends around you. Because we got to make this thing stick. Because we trying to finish this thing with the best we got. The finish line is right there. The momentum and the moment you choose to move, man, you're gonna get that much closer. Fam, one more step. Okay, one more rep. Okay, one more hour less of eating before I go to bed. One more push-up. One more call as you're trying to close calls. Have people buy into your product or your service. Whatever it may be. One more episode of the podcast. Whatever it may be, family. Make sure you are doing that next step that you need to do so we can finish strong. Because always remember this. You do not have to be perfect to finish strong. You just got to stay in the game. And that's why only 10 to 20% of people are truly successful in life like they want to be. Remember, I always tell y'all, don't let nobody else set your standards. You set your own standards. Unless God is setting the standard for you. But you and God, other than that, no, I'm not trying to live up to nobody else's standard. It's me and God. Fam, I don't have to finish perfect. But I do need to stay in the game and push that gas forward. I don't want to look back and look over my life with no resentment, no regret. I want to know that, guess what? I put forth the last bit of effort to cross this finish line so I can say, I did it. I finished strong because I wanted to give up so bad. But I knew I had to do this because I was right there on the verge of this, man. And the resistance is coming. The mindset, the battles that's going on in your mind is coming. But I know I've got to finish strong, man, because I want this so bad. And I know once I get it and I'm done, I'm going to be so happy because I actually can look back over my life and don't have to say coulda, shoulda, woulda. I finished that thing because I got through the momentum that I needed. I hung around some people that I needed to help me push myself across this finish line so I can say I finished strong. Fam, I love you guys. I want the absolute best for you. So do me a favor. Thank you for listening. If this episode has helped you, I want you to share it with somebody who could you really use that last push, that last bit of push to finish strong, fam. This is your boy John Bacon with another segment of Bacon Bits. I love you guys so much. God bless. What's up, family? If this podcast has inspired you, encouraged you, made you think deeper, or even just made you smile, then I have a simple ask. Would you consider supporting this work? Creating this podcast takes time, heart, and resources, from equipment and editing to outreach and hosting. Each episode is a labor of love aimed at lifting people up and speaking life into real situations. But I can't do it alone. Your donation, big or small, helps keep the meaning going and the message. It helps us grow, reach more people, and continue producing powerful content that uplifts, educates, and empowers. If you've been blessed by this platform, I invite you to sow into it. Help us keep the mic on and the message moving. You can give at Zelle or Cash App using the links in the description box. Thank you for being part of the journey. With gratitude, the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we speak life, purpose, and legacy, one episode at a time.